What's up, everybody? Welcome. I know it's just me, my sweet mother, and
Hey,
Brandon with mic
Hey,
issues.
yeah.
Oh, hey, you're
oh
you're
yay.
there. What's
Awesome.
up?
Way to go, Brandon.
All right. Well,
Just a little technical.
no worries. So this slide deck is actually what I'm going to have at all the team gatherings going on for this year for our team that is agents. So I wanted to make sure that all the business partners knew what I was promoting to the rest of the team, or to everyone that's a sales agent. And then, of course, we'll dive into what our real agenda is at the end. And I'll just kind of like cruise through these, but a lot of them are geared towards our agents, but I wanted to make sure that you guys knew about it for just content scenario, or situational awareness. Plus, um, there are a lot of aspects on there that as business partners, we should be doing 10 times or 50 times as much as the sales agents are in the realm of social media and swag and everything else, to try to like continue promoting the company. And so I know that there will be people that watch this later, that are business partners with us, and they're more like silent partners, and really they don't want any aspect of controlling the company or kind of driving it. But in all of the business partners capacity that's on board with us, if you're not heavily promoting the company, then your investment's pretty much going nowhere, especially right now, because it's just the real estate market as a whole is really kind of stagnant. And so if we're not promoting the company while we're stagnant, then we aren't promoting it through a time where when it starts to pick up again, we can really explode. I don't want to hit the time when we're supposed to be exploding, and that's when everybody gets excited about it. I want like our voice to be super loud and big in this void, because there's such a vacuum right now of people just running away from real estate. And so in that void, I want to make sure like we have the capacity to really excel through that. And so that's part of my like mantra to the business partners is that if you're not taking it as serious as we can, that's fine. But if you look at your investment and go, it's not really making me any money, and I'll say, what have you done lately to help us get promoting? Um, because that's kind of where we're at. We're not to the level of like Apple where it just promotes itself. Like we don't have that. One day maybe we'll have that kind of a luxury where it's really like the ball's now pushing itself instead of us pushing it uphill. But we're not there yet. So anyway, like I said, this is the agenda. We're going to talk about, well, the agenda will have an amazing partner that's hosting it for us, like a lender, title company, or whatever. So they're going to take 5 to 10 minutes at every one of our team gatherings, right up front. So one, we can thank them for letting us be in their place. Number two, they're usually paying for all the food and finger snacks or finger foods and stuff. So I wanted to make sure that they have an opportunity to do that. As business partners, what's awesome is if, like, let's say, Brandon, not really in your case because you're not like here with us physically all the time, but for everybody else that watches this later, if you have a business partner that you like or a brand of a company that you like, we may be able to host a gathering there, do a team gathering, and get your friend or their business displayed up front, so that maybe it will increase sales or brand awareness or whatever, and get some cross collaboration there, which would be awesome, I think. We'll definitely be going over a huge congrats, booth lineup, swag, scams, fifth year anniversary party, connecting platforms, earnest money trust account instructions, commission and getting paid, training, and new horizons. So this is where I'd let the amazing partner take 5 to 10 minutes. Typically, if I give them 5 to 10, they usually go to 15 anyways. It just depends on the person. Rarely have I had anybody go short, but anyway, like I said, I want to make a space for whoever is hosting it for us, which we have. We have three really hot lenders that are coming on board with us to promote the company, brand awareness. One of them we've actually got that marketing partnership with, and so any loans that go through that lender specifically pay the company in like a back end. Um, and so it just creates that space though that we can connect with lenders and people that are not realtors all the time. Plus, we don't own a space, and so when we can get it for free, and they pay for the food or drinks and stuff that they want to feed us, like that's a win-win. Especially at the company level, right? Like us looking at where we're at, going, it just creates a great place for us to not spend a lot of money on that piece of growing. Also, you guys know, just stop me anytime if you have questions or comments. All right. So I love metrics and I love analytics. I love numbers. You guys know that. So we'll always start off with a huge congrats. I will be updating these throughout the year for all the team and stuff like that as we continue to go through. Right now, we're closing up the end of the year. We were just shy of $29 million in closed transactions. The media coordinator that we've hired is helping us grow. This year alone, in the last 12 months, we've had 418,000 impressions, not including Google paid ads, which I had to quit, or not quit, but we had to take that off the board while it's kind of in limbo. I'll talk more about that once we just go to the business partners section. Just keep that in the back of your mind. If I forget to hit it, just remind me. The podcast is now on episode 42, plus a bunch of like intermittent episodes through there. And so we've had over 2,500 views on just the podcast. YouTube is way higher than that. The metrics, I just can't like commingle those together because YouTube runs their analytics differently than Anchor, and Anchor runs theirs differently. So YouTube is more like how many minutes are you watching? Anchor is like how many views are you watching? And so I could like get them all together, but it's just more fun. One day I'll have both Anchor and YouTube stats on this page. Then the web page in Google, I don't know if you probably didn't see it, Brandon. I put it in the licensees channel, but our Google page just went over 11,000 views just this month. And that's like 4 times more than we've ever gotten in 1 month. So I was like, I don't know what really happened other than people started looking. So, which is kind of cool. We do have 21 agents currently. We do have 4 in school. I just hired 2 more 2 weeks ago, so they're in school. And so our pipeline, I'm trying to fill that. I have a set of goals that's all about filling the pipeline to continue that. Booth lineup, of course, we'll have the home show, FitCon, State Fair. Oh, sorry. Home show is a maybe. I wanted to kind of chat about that. FitCon is a go. That they love us. We're never going to stop doing that. It's like shooting fish in a barrel for brand awareness. It's just really fun. State Fair, my mom has qualms about it, and we're on both sides of the fence about that. And about how to tackle the State Fair and stuff like that. And so we're always open to more ideas. What I'll be spitting to the rest of the team is that we are open to hosting additional booths on top of this schedule, but we're not going to pay for all of it, so they'll have to come with half of the funds, and then they have to run the event, right? Like we may help them with swag, ideas, how, like best practices that I've had up to this point, things like that, just to like smooth it out. But we're not going to do it for them, and we're not going to run it for them because I just don't have the time to do that, and I'm already running like the 2 biggest ones, and so I'm not going to take on more that I'm not going to be able to handle. So this is a logo that one of the guys that was at the State Fair across from us, he was running a booth there. He drew this, and his only payment he asked in return is for him or for me to mentor him. And one day he may move here from California and join our team. These are the 2 links for the swag store. And so I'm going to leave this screen up. Everybody can pause it later. But part of the business partner pitch is that if you don't have a lot of swag or you're not wearing the logo like 24/7, you're missing out on a lot of opportunities for people to ask you about it. Of course, at the business partner level, it's more like, hey, what does it all involve? what does it entail? You're not looking for sales. Maybe you're just driving somebody to our brand and the website and stuff like that. But it creates a lot of conversations, and me and my mom talk about it all the time, that we wear it around. People are like, what the heck is that? And then it's a great opportunity for education on the spot. But you don't get that conversation without the logo in front of them, because nobody is asking you what you do in line at the supermarket without a logo. Like they don't just randomly walk up to you like, hey, tell me about that. So I'm trying to promote that more. I know that the store, some of the items on there are very expensive, but some of them are very lasting. I mean, I've got the same coats that I ordered the very first time like 4 years ago or 3 years ago. So they last a long time. They hold up. They're really nice. The embroidery is really nice. This one's just screen printed on my hoodie. So this is a new type of hoodie, really soft, screen printed with a small logo on the front, large logo on the back. So it's just a different style. We can actually shop and do new products in there as well. So if you have something that you're like, I can't live without this, then let me know what that is. And sometimes we can source that and get it on there. And that's why we have two different ones. One of them is harder to source, or sorry, one of them is easier to source the logo and different ways to print the logo. And one of them is easier to source stuff, and it makes it easier to slap it on anything. And so that's why we have two. One of them's easier to manipulate, one of them's a little harder. So anyway, if you're not cruising around with a window decal on your car, of course at the business partner level, that like you're not really running out there to put Apple on your car, but also you're not as intimately involved with the company as you are with us. And so I'm not saying that you might not want to, or vice versa, but for us, that's one of the top ways that we have great conversations with people about it. Obviously, scams for the team. My mom is not going to ask you for money, so don't send her any like gift cards.
TJ, real quick, is the
Yeah.
shop the same on both websites?
The shop is different on each website. So one of them has like a different set of swag, and then one of them has a different set of swag. It's just like there's different products on each one of them.
Got it.
And then that's also like if you were looking for a hoodie, it's probably a little more expensive on the Creator Spring than ID Works, but I feel like the softness of the sweatshirt is better on Creator Spring. And so it's like, I don't know. We've just ordered a lot, and we try to, like when I go to order something, I'm like, ooh, I want to try that. So then I set it up on the swag store, and then I order like the size that I think I am, plus one up and one down, and then I just keep whichever one I like and give away the rest. But when I go and pitch this to the rest of our team, most of that is so that they'll actually wear the logo around, have the conversations. Um, Not that they have to give out a ton of swag, because they probably don't want to spend, $300 or $400 or $500 on swag right at this point. And so most of it for me is to just get them looking at owning something that they can wear to like a rodeo or something or whatever, like wherever they're going to be, and start talking about it. Let's see. Okay, so 5th year anniversary party. We started at Legends for the party there, so we figured we'd go back to Legends. It's going to be downtown. This little link right here will take you to the Facebook invite, and so it's going to be from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock on February 24th, which is almost to the day as 5 years. It's like a week ahead of time. But anyway, that was just a good looking day, and they didn't have any other parties that day, so it was wide open. The other cool part is we don't actually have to like prepay. We just tell them what we want on the order, and they continue to bring out the food until we end the night. Or if I hit a certain cap, like I'll tell them like as soon as we hit $1,000 in food, like we'll probably just pack it up for the night. That way we can control some of the spending. And see like if we have 150 people show up in the very first like 10 minutes and we blow through a bunch of food, that would be cool. But it also protects us from, if only like 20 people show up the entire night, we didn't spend $1,000 in food that nobody's ever gonna eat. But anyway, we're excited about that. I'll probably try to run another live on that. When we first kicked it off, I was not as tech savvy as I am now, with live videos and stuff, and so it'll actually happen this time. Last time my laptop burned up, and so it was a bad day. Okay, for the business partners and people that watch this in the future, we are on all of these platforms. We have tons of platforms. So if you haven't been to this link for the platforms, go and check it out. For the business partners that want to take their investment serious, or more serious, I guess, if you're not like liking, commenting, sharing on all of our posts and media, like, you're not really servicing your investment that well, in my opinion. Like I said, there's a huge vacuum for real estate specific things right now. That's because lots of companies have quit. They've turned off their marketing budgets because they're all poor, or they're going broke. And so we have a really unique opportunity because we're not broke, and we can fill that void. And all the stuff that we do looks different, sounds different, looks cooler, is very unique. And so the point of this platform area, though, is that if you didn't know we were on a certain platform and it's your favorite platform, then go to that platform and follow us. Let's see. Earnest money and trust account procedures, that's going to be for the agents. Commission and getting paid, that's for agents as well. Training, I'm going to hit on personal responsibility for our agents a lot, because I've had a lot of people that are like, well, you're not mentoring me. And I'm like, you have me 24/7, but if you don't tell me that you need help, then I have no clue. One of my goals is to reach out to everyone that's on our team quarterly with a phone call, which I have not done since we've started. And so everyone will get at least one opportunity per quarter to talk to me on the phone. And if they don't pick up, I will just keep calling once a week till they do. And so once I hit it for the quarter, then of course I'll move on to the people that are like 8 or 9 phone calls deep and still not picking up. So we'll find out what happens. You can't dual agent, blah, blah, blah. Your plan, your goal. I'm super goal oriented. These next like 3 team meetings are going to be all about goals and like kind of a breakout session for goals. We might not spend a lot of time like at this slide on goals. It'll probably be like get through everything, close down, and then if you want to stay and talk about goals, then we will. What are your major barriers right now? This particular one for business partners is really like what's stopping you from, sharing on social media, helping us grow, talking about it, swag, like, or other things that I haven't thought about, right? There's probably 100 different ideas that we could put on the table that would be, this is what I want to do to promote the company. And I have no idea what that is because I'm already thinking about all of the things that I'm doing, and I just don't know what that is, right? Like when you don't know what you don't know, you can't actually find it until somebody says, this is that thing that you should be focusing on. And I just don't have that yet. So if you have other ideas, I'm open to that. But for the agents, this is going to be what are the major barriers from taking your career to the next level? Like, do you need more time with me? Stuff like that. CE classes for people that need that. Training portal link. I'm like trying to promote that everywhere. One of the things is that people lose their password and then they go to do forget my password, and it goes to their spam and they forget to check there because this will go to spam every time. Just kind of sucks, but that's the way it is. And so anyway, the training portal is awesome, by the way. I'll show you guys some analytics on that here in a second. Let's see, New Horizons. So potential for new partners, of course. I'm going to be looking for those, looking for agents that want to be brokers. Every agent can have an interview on the podcast, right? The podcast is amazing. It's getting a lot of hits. I want every agent to take that opportunity to tell their story. Somebody that's going to be on probably pretty early is Sunny from our team. Super smart, super fun. They're buying their second rental property now. They're moving into a house and they'll now have 2 rentals, and she's 22. And so I'm like, you need to tell your story, because there's so many young people that are like, I'm feeling attacked and oppressed, and like the system's broken and the government hates me. And I'm like, this young 22-year-old just made $100,000. Like, what's your problem? You know, like, you just suck at life. And I want to showcase her and help other people understand that they can also do that, because there's so much room for opportunity. So anyway, I want to make sure everybody can get on the podcast. Same thing for the business partners. If you want to tell your story on the podcast about the company or your real estate career or anything like that, the door's wide open. Let's see. Do you want to host an event? That's kind of going back to the booths that we already touched on. Fiscal year, we're changing We're changing to the calendar year. For accounting instead of the fiscal year. We used to go from like Black Friday to Black Friday. In my accounting like notes in my folders, that was just so convoluted. So we're just going to fix that and go from calendar year, just a normal calendar year, which makes it a lot easier. We will still pay out the bonus on Black Friday or a week before or a week after, depending on when I figure out that I haven't cut the checks. So I'll do my best. But doesn't change anything with the bonuses, just changes accounting, my numbers, and how I track things. All right. So now we're at the business partner agenda. So sorry that took a half an hour. I didn't think it would take that long, but I had a lot to like regurgitate for you guys. So I wanted to start by seriously encouraging everyone. I know, Brandon, you're the only one here that is not like all the time posting. Me and my mom are posting like crazy anyways, so we could always do better on that front anyways as well. So I'm not saying like, oh, I'm doing the best. I'm just saying there's room for everyone to grow on social media, and we want to crush it in that arena. But for everyone that's a business partner that will watch this later, I'm encouraging you to follow us on your favorite channel, whether that's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Like, follow us on there, and then make it a habit to try to log on 3 times a week, either like when you're taking a dump or whatever. Like, I want you to say, like, this is my time, this is when I'm going to log in. And if you don't see Fitness Realty in your feed, go hunt for us, and then like, share, and comment on everything that you can see, and tell your story, right? Like, I often write things that are a weird like question or whatever. There's a lot of things that I'll ask, or there's a lot of things that I will write about, or like our podcast, the media company posts a bunch of short videos on every platform. And so commenting your story on those posts will help the analytics just really kind of jump. Now, I was trying to get everyone to do that once a day. I figured that's probably too hard to start with. I'm doing it all the time, but I can't expect everyone else to do that on their mind like all the time. And so I'm trying to get everyone to commit to 3 times a week, whether that's like 3 days in a row or whatever. If you did it 3 days in a row, just scroll back a little bit. We'll have tons of content. I'm telling you, if you can't like find content about us for that week, let me know, because it probably didn't get posted right, and there's lots of content in the backlog. I just didn't know it, and I needed help to know that I didn't post it. Let's see. We're going to go over the shareholder agreement. We won't be signing that. I'm going to give you guys a week to review it. Let me know if it needs tweaks, because it was written by somebody else that doesn't know our company as well. And so if we need to tweak it, we have a good baseline and we can tweak it from there. Then let's see.
Hey, TJ, real quick.
Yeah.
I'm on the Facebook page. It looks like the intro might have been cut off.
Ooh, what intro?
Fitness Realty is about more than just buying and selling homes. It's more than just exercising it. And then it stops.
Oh, okay. Well, this is some good stuff to look at. This is where like, let's see, go computer. There we go.
Yeah, right
Let's
there.
see.
Intro, bottom left.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, well let's see if we can fix that. Mm. Oh, maybe we'll just fix it back here.
Otherwise, dude, the company has great reviews. Google 131 5 stars.
Yeah.
Facebook 28 5 stars.
Oh yeah. Google is cranked. This last time that me and my mom went to the Stringham broker like class,
Mhm.
or they call it career night now, which is just a bunch of people that show up and then four agents go up to the front and answer questions from anybody in the audience about real estate or being an agent or whatever. Anyway, there was a guy before we started because I was up in the panel or they requested me up in the panel that night. But before we got started, there was a guy that looked us up online and then came over and said, "You should just teach a class on how to get Google reviews. Like you're killing it." And I was like, "Thanks." Like I know we're doing a pretty good job, but I didn't know it was that good.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. Oh, there. Let's see. Huh. I guess we don't. You only get 20, maybe
That's
30
really
something
annoying.
characters. That's super short.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe we'll try to figure something else to write there. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. That sounds kind of intriguing. Whatever. Anyway, we fixed the it and apostrophe. So good catch. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I can't find that stuff because I've looked at it a bazillion times. So, when you just gloss over and I'm like, yep, I've read it, but I haven't really read it. Like it went in, but it didn't go in.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
Let's see. What was I gonna show? Oh, I was gonna show you Metricool really fast. The stats on this. Was it Metricool I was gonna show? Anyway, I can't remember. Yeah, this is it. So see this huge impressions number. This is awesome. We've done 2,000% since we started with Metricool. Or I mean Taylor Green Media. They're the ones who edit the podcast, post it, do the shorts. They post throughout the week for us, which is really sweet.
It's awesome.
So, yeah, this is like from the business partner standpoint. This is why I wanted to showcase this because they are ultra expensive. Like, they're one of our largest expenses for the company. They used to be $1,500 a month. They are now $1,000 a month because I told them that they may be on the chopping block pretty soon. Wasn't the case, so maybe I lied a little. I mean, I've been thinking about it and saying like maybe we should cut costs, but so in the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, they're on the chopping block because I just know that they're an expense that is not a necessary expense. Like we can still run without that bare bones. We wouldn't need them. However, I don't want to get rid of them because they're like crushing it for us. So now at $1,000 a month, it's much better. They went from 1,500, like I said, to 1,000. So we had a big cut there. But what I wanted to showcase here is that even though we did 2,000%, none of these metrics have our team running three times a week, liking, sharing, and commenting. And if we could have that, it would just explode. Like it would literally explode overnight because we would have 9 business partners or 8 business partners 3 times a week, liking, sharing, and commenting. The algorithm would just shoot through the roof. And then if I could get 21 agents to even like watch one episode a piece a week, the algorithm would continue to explode. So right now we're killing it, but we could be like 10 times this like overnight if everybody would actually start doing it. I'm a little harder in this meeting because you guys have something to lose if we go down. Agents don't care about that. They're like, whatever, I can go sell real estate somewhere else. It doesn't even matter. But for you guys, you have skin in the game, and me and my mom have substantial skin in the game, and so we really want to make this work, and
Yep.
so we're just kind of pushing it onto you guys. I'm saying it like there's more people in here, so because eventually everybody will have this recording, but you get what I'm saying.
I hear you.
What was something else that I was gonna touch on? I'm gonna scroll back here really fast just to make sure. Zach, if he was in here, is in the broker class right now, just FYI, which is awesome. Oh, I was gonna show you the analytics on the training portal. So right now we have free training. So this one you can't actually track progress. The only thing I track in here is if anybody is actually logged in. So like Jackie got an account but never actually logged into it. Mike and Will are the guys who run Taylor Green Media Group, so of course they're in there because they had to make sure it worked. And then I got my account. This link is what's going to hopefully become the click funnel for the paid training. So they'll come into this, they'll get it for free, they'll get like 3 or 4 videos for free. And then after that, it'll be a, hey, for $297, you can have this real estate course, which is this one right here. So Fitness Realty Training Portal. This one, it actually marks and tracks as you go through the course. It's all self-guided anyways, like you can click on it and you could actually click and complete every single video without actually watching the video. So we don't have anything like that built into it because I don't really care. Like if people get in there and they don't actually watch it, that's fine. That's on them. But it does have capabilities of tracking it. And so you can see people have logged into it. They've gotten their account. Like here's my mom's, here's Jacob's, here's mine. Here's Will's. I actually don't know. Oh, this might be Will from Taylor Green Media Group. Skylar is one of our fresher or newer agents. Well, he's not new, but he's not done anything yet. And so there's a lot of room for opportunity with the training portal, but I have a goal to make these training numbers even more, and so I'm going to be pushing training like crazy. I will actually rewatch every single training video this year once again like last year and create new content for new categories, and then there's a lot of videos that are kind of stale that I shot maybe the first year that we were doing this training online, and so I'll probably re-update those. But for the business partner standpoint, when we get the Tripwire or ClickFunnels for the paid training, if you know people in Utah, because it'll be super real estate or Utah specific, like it would be a great opportunity for them to learn how to do real estate. And then at the very end, we're going to invite people that finish the training that if they want to hang their license with us, we will buy the program back from them and give them their money back, or maybe half of it or whatever, something like that. Okay, any questions on anything I've covered thus far?
Oh, good, man. I like it.
Sweet. Okay, let me go to the very end slide again. Oh, whoops. My computer stopped doing stuff. Okay, so I'll show you really quick. Here's what the shareholders agreement looks like. I'm going to send this out to every shareholder. It's just going to be a PDF that you can look at. You can't fill in anything yet. We will have another business partner meeting, so make notes on yours or print it out and make notes about questions you have, things you want to tweak or whatever, things you need that you think we need to update or whatever. I've read through most of this, not super brief, but not super in depth either. So when I go and read through, I'll be printing it out, highlighting stuff that I want to make sure everyone understands. There's a ton of information in here about how the shares can be diluted for one and distributed and or sold for two. And so when people want to go and share or sell theirs eventually, they will have to present them to the company first. Company will either buy it from them first at said market value or whatever. Um, and then if not the company first, then the people inside the company second. So like if Brandon, you wanted more shares and Dustin was like, I'm ready to offload mine, and he says he has a buyer, then we get to see what that buyer is willing to pay, and then if you want to buy them, you could buy them from Dustin first, right? You'd have like second right of refusal if the company says we're not buying them back. Stuff like that. Anyway, I'm going to scroll here to the end where it shows everybody's shares, just so you guys can see a snapshot. This is straight off of that little Google spreadsheet that I run. You guys can always ask me or whatever, so you can see where you're at. We did buy 95 shares back from Ben Cook. The company did. So we just gave him his money back and said, thanks, have a nice day. And yeah, that's what we have. So I'm going to put everybody's, I'm going to share it to everybody probably tonight after we get off this phone call or Google Meet. And then you'll have a week to kind of review it. I need these signed pretty soon. I mean, they're not like, oh, I mean, it's not going anywhere. So like, if you wanted to sell it, nobody's going to buy these, you know, like nobody's going to pay you what you want for them at this point. So like, these are hoops we're jumping through so that when one day the market does turn around and everything goes back bonkers again, and or we start to grow, then we have covered our, you know, bases. And so a lot of this is like jumping through hoops that we don't really need yet, but we need to finish them. But like I said, nobody's going to say, oh, I have 245 shares of Fitness Realty. Who wants to buy that? Nobody wants to buy that right now. You know, I mean, in my goals, I want to bring on new business partners. And so if we do that, they'll have to pay the price that we have set in the Google sheet, but it's kind of a held price, right? Like nobody's going to go and try to offload those or sell them at that price because they're not really worth that. We just have it set that way. One day that'll kind of all level out. And of course, when we buy more assets, that kind of changes everything as well. I had one more thought about that. We do have the opportunity to have Rick Haskell, who's one of the brightest minds from Goldman Sachs, but he quit Goldman Sachs or retired from there and now teaches at Westminster in the business department, I think, or the financial department. Anyway, he's like a numbers wizard. He has given the go-ahead to the people that run the SBA for like Salt Lake County to find companies that would like to have Rick and his students evaluate their company and give them a market price or a price. You know, like if you were going to go sell this company, it's worth XYZ. So in the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I have a meeting with Rick. I met Rick twice in the Goldman Sachs business course. He was like, dude, I'm super stoked you're going to come and do this with us. And I was like, I don't know if you're going to be as stoked as me, you know, but also we're like super tiny compared to everything else you're going to probably look at. But yeah, I'm open to the, you know, free opportunity. So anyway, it's his students. They're going to do it for free, but it's also going to be not as in depth as if you're going to pay somebody $5,000 to do it for you. But obviously, I don't want to pay for it because we don't need it, but it will be fun to look at. Okay, so that's on the horizon. Whoops. I'll open that later. Okay, now talking about the agents, I'm going to be continuing to grow that in the pipeline. We have every Stringham broker, or I keep wanting to call it broker open house, the career night. So we're going to go to everyone that we get invited to. Most of the time, we're going to get invited to every single one of them because they like us and we're different and we're not EXP or Keller Williams. And so we just are different and they like us because we funneled a boatload of students to them. And so we always have kind of an inside track to that. And so I will continue to run a booth there. My plan is to hopefully have my mom there as always, or as much as you want to go. But number two is a newer agent that's hired on with us to come and sit next to me, so that newer agent can say, "This is the experience I've had with me," or whatever. So it'll just sound different coming from somebody who's 20, or 22. Like if it's sunny, it's gonna be like shooting fish in a barrel because it'll be just awesome. I'll just be like, I'll refer to Sunny. What's your experience been like? And she'll probably say, well, this year I made $75,000, and I'm 23 or whatever. I don't know how old she is. So anyway, I want to do that. The growth, like I said, we want to continue to grow on social media everywhere. The podcast, like I said, it's I've got content to go to episode like 75 without shooting anything additional today. We could continue to run it for like the next 8 months or something. I did start figuring out that a lot of the content that I've shot didn't stay evergreen because the market really shifted quickly and nobody could have anticipated that. And so now I'm trying to only make content that is the weekly podcast release, that is something that has nothing to do with the market conditions and everything to do with like how real estate works, or roofers or lenders, or off topic stuff. Like we just did one that's a guy that does like overlanding in a Tacoma and told us all about his truck and his rig and camping in the backwoods of Utah and stuff like that. So that was really entertaining, and that piece of content will never die. Like there's not a market that changes where people are like, oh, I don't want to build a truck anymore and I don't want to go to the backwoods of Utah because it's pretty, like that's never going to go away. And so I will be scrubbing my content hopefully here soon, that if an episode is something that's like, wow, that's market driven, I'll probably scrap it and redo something, or bump everything up and just scrap it anyways, to make sure that we're not launching stuff that's just ridiculous. The only things that will be market driven are once a month I shoot an episode that has none of the extra shorts or extra posts. I just post it on the podcast. It does get edited so it doesn't look like crap, but it gets posted on the podcast as just like a midweek extra, right? And then we can funnel our people, our agents and our clients and stuff like that to that piece of content, if they want to know, like, what does the market look like today? So I started those probably in October or September or something like that, maybe. And so right at the first of the month, I shoot the new one, and it comes out like that week or the week after. So it's really relevant content. I'm going to be continuing to do that. I won't stop doing that. I love the podcast. I really think it's helping us be seen by extra people that are not in our industry, for one, and number two, there's agents that are like, whoa, I need to be doing that, and they start, but they don't have the willpower to keep going. Like we're on episode 42 and people are like, how did you start that? Like, how did you get to that point? And I'm like, well, you just start. And they start and they don't, and then they fail because they don't have that willpower. So we're beyond that point. So that's where I'm going to keep on doing it. I have a goal to bring on 2 new business partners this year. I hope that it'll be one, Frank Dippold out in New Jersey. He's one of the lenders that's just rock solid. He just barely got licensed in Utah. He will probably never set foot into Utah until we've done like 10 or 15 deals, and then he's going to fly out here and run a class with us. It'll probably be a 2-day or a 3-day how to invest in real estate and do 3 deals, or own 3 pieces of property, and he calls it the velocity of money. So he's not willing to come out and teach it in person until we've done a bunch of deals, but one day that would be pretty cool. But it would be awesome for him to own a piece of our company and put some effort in, because I just know he's pretty well off, and so that would be cool. Other business partners and people that I'm looking towards, I have it on my goal sheet to get Brian Swan on our team. One day I want that to happen. He's a brilliant mind. Brandon, you haven't met him yet, I don't think. Just an amazing guy. He's a lawyer, but he also is in real estate, just super smart. And I've talked to him about it before, but he wasn't willing to come in with any cash, and he wanted like a large chunk for free. And I was like, well, I mean, we need you and I want you, but I'm not going to give it to you for free. If you like it and you want to grow with us, then yeah. But if not, then piss off. So I guess I'm just kind of a butthole about it, because I know that we have something amazing, and so does he, and that's why he was like, well, give me this big large chunk, and I'm like, nah, we don't need that. Okay, I skipped the purchasing. So here's what my plan is. I'm gonna shift over really quick. Let's see. Okay. So I have this goal for 2 more rentals. It'll be 4 doors for Fitness Realty. I want to pull the trigger on something this year. No partners, no nothing, just the company. No weird um, no, we don't have to jump through any crazy hoops because one, we don't have time for that. Number two, we just don't have a lot of managing partners that are gonna look at that all day, every day. I want to just we get together and we're like, yeah, that looks nice. And a realtor in whatever area we're looking in is like, yep, this is a sweet piece of property. We run some numbers on it. It looks good. It doesn't have to be dropping the floor out good. I mean, I would love one of those, but I also don't want to wait until month 12 to pull the trigger on it. I want to get going on it and pull the trigger early, um, and make it happen. So if that's pulling the trigger early, like in March for the first one and July for the second, or maybe it's May for the first and September for the second, whatever it looks like, I want to pull the trigger on it. We have access to some SBA funding. Our numbers are running; they're running good. The problem that we may run into is when we go to file 2022's taxes, the company is kind of losing money, and so that might hurt us. And by losing money, I just mean we're running pretty hot, and we've had a lot of things happen in the budget that were not foreseen, like the lawyer to get all the shareholder agreements and ELA Shores and accounting that just kind of gets pretty expensive, but it just is what it is. And then the market shifted, so we haven't actually recuperated any of that through sales. Just because people aren't selling as frequently as they as the market would dictate. So it is on my goals to do that. If the market and the taxes just hammer us down and make it impossible to do that, so be it. Maybe we'll do a DSCR loan because that can get around that. And number two, if it really gets blockaded, then we just know all right, let's sit on all the cash that we have and wait until the taxes look better and the market conditions look better for that. I'm not opposed to having something on my goals that we don't achieve, because I had lots of those for 2022, right? I set up a lot of things and I try to get there, but they're usually pretty lofty, and sometimes we just don't hit that. So if we don't hit that in this arena, that's okay. I'm trying to put it on the docket for everyone so you understand that's the way I want to go. That's the plan that I have. I would love to, make it happen. But like I said, if it doesn't, that's fine. All right. The purchasing arena that I want to do it in is Tampa, because I love that area. I've never even been there. I just like the pictures. Plus, it is it's got MacDill next to it, so a sweet Air Force base. So if we had a short-term rental there, one of my friends that runs it's called Billets, I think billets.org or something. Her website is now going to be listed, and Brandon, you'll know what this is. Mom, this is going to sound like jargon, but Billets has just got listed, or will be listed in 2023 on DTS, so that people can do DTS to have a short-term rental that is off base, either TLF or they can do yeah.
That's impressive.
Right, it's sick. So she's got that all going, and so if we bought a short-term rental that was just outside of MacDill, boom, put it on Billets and have an extra source of income
Yep.
for that short-term rental or whatever.
I was actually just going to touch base on that. I still want to have that investing tag up with you guys with the team to determine exactly what your goals would be. And you kind of just answered my question. So I don't know if you've been tracking ADPI recently, but they just created a short-term rental academy, which I bought into already. I had been
Oh,
on the waiting
nice.
list for the last 3 or 4 months. I'm going through their first cohort, and I'm going to finish up the training here in the next couple of weeks. My plan is to finish the training, go through the cohort that is like literally the coaches go with you step by step over an 8 or 9 week process. And
Mm-hmm.
my goal is to have my first short-term rental by the end of February.
Nice.
So that being said, that is my personal plan, and I have that up here in Northern Virginia. But then going through that process, learning the automation, doing it myself, actually having the business, knowing exactly how it runs, knowing how to, and the important part here is I'm going through the arbitrage method. Have you heard of that?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've not loved it, but I mean, there are a lot of ways to skin that cat.
Yeah. So, Carrie, real quick, arbitrage is literally you are finding a property that you're renting from the owner. You're not buying it and owning it. So
Mm-hmm.
that's good in, one or two primary ways. One, you don't have the liability of the entire ownership of the property. Two, um, the landlord still basically is responsible again for the liability of everything. Any of the major
Mm-hmm.
systems break, it's on them. So one, and two, obviously, you don't have to have all the equity. Or sorry,
Right.
you don't have to have the capital to actually purchase the property. So all you have to do is figure out a win-win situation. You sign a lease with the landlord saying, "Hey, I'm going to be using your property as a short-term rental business or property, basically, and I plan to have those capabilities." And they agree to it, but you're basically signing a 2, 3, 4 year lease with them, so they get the guaranteed cash, guaranteed, right?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so there can be a lot of win-wins if you do it properly, and that's what I'm planning to learn over the next 2 months or so.
Dude,
So
that's cool.
yeah, I'll keep you guys updated with that. Especially up here in Northern Virginia, I want to have it up and running before the Cherry Blossom Festival because that's going to be big. And he literally only started the arbitrage method 2 years, this past year. Within a single year, he got two different units and made 50K straight profit.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude, I'm totally down for that.
just up for two units.
Well,
So yeah,
it, and the cool part is that we have all these different minds looking at it, and that's the cool part about our company is that you have that aspect, and if we can grow that, that would be amazing. And if you see that in the cohort, like this is a great way to buy a short term. Like the company's ready to do that. So if you stumble upon one and it's like, hey, let's pull the trigger, like let's do it.
agreed. And yeah, so for me personally, I'm doing the arbitrage because I don't have the capital put down on especially, oh my God, especially out here in North Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
But again, for the company, and I agree, Judd, Tampa and McDill is definitely a good way to go, especially that's being able to get her company listed in DTS. That is impressive.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it's unreal. When she told me that, I was like, "What? Like that's not real." And then she like showed me
I,
some stuff, and I had her on my podcast or on the podcast, and I was like, "That's insane." And the cool thing is me and her were in tech school together 17 years ago.
nice.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
I
But
like
yeah,
it.
so now you kind of see like I would love to do that pretty early, and so if you find something like in February or March or whatever, like that's the way we're gonna go. I'm gonna be looking a ton. Like I'm gonna just pick an agent that I like out there that's in the ICC, um, and it might be I can't remember who's out there in Florida, but mostly because I haven't been to the ICC meetings for like 4 weeks. But anyways, I'll pick somebody out there, and then we can really kind of like tailor it to tracking something down. Like I was literally doing a live video on Facebook last night, and for our area, stumbled upon this little mother-in-law home that if somebody bought it and lived in the basement, they would only have to pay $1,000 to live there. And I was like, I didn't think this would actually exist in Utah right now, but it is, and they have been on the market like 80 days. I'm like, there's tons of room for us to go in there and say, hey, we'll offer you 40 grand less or 25 or whatever. Um, And I know we can do that in different markets, and so with a gung-ho agent, I'm sure we can go pretty cutthroat on something. um, and we can run our own numbers and calculator stuff. And like the way Brandon and Brandon, you've been looking at it the same way I've been looking at stuff and owning these rentals, is that the once it's down on paper and the numbers look good, like it's pretty easy to just say, all right, let's pull the trigger on this. Something that we do have in our back pocket is that we own that 3711 Lydia Avenue outright, and there's tons of leverage in there. I mean, I don't want to leverage it to the hilt because that's stupid. But if we did 50%, there's probably $140,000, maybe not that high, maybe like $120,000 that we could tap into if we needed extra for a DSCR loan. Like if we had to pull it and put that down to do something that doesn't hit the company's books in debt, so that would be nice. So anyway, I know that this was a full hour of me just unloading, so I apologize for just continuing to unload. And I know when I get hyped up, I start talking lots faster, and so I'm just excited about it. I'm excited about the company and where we're going. Even though when I'm looking at the bank account now, it continues to go down, just because our expenses are pretty high. I have been looking at stuff that we might be able to cut. There's not a lot that we can cut out of there just because we are running pretty lean already, but if we add other people closing and stuff like that, that really helps fill it. Plus, the new people that we hire, typically on their first deal, the company makes between like $2,000 and $6,000, and so if we had 10 of those, that's between $20,000 and $60,000 in revenue. And so that's why I said I'm going to continue to pump the pipeline and recruit heavy. Right now, it's kind of deaf ears because nobody really wants to do anything. But when things kind of heat up again and people start talking about real estate, then we will be ready to kind of net all the people that come this way. So anyway, what questions or comments do you guys have? I know I just unloaded, like I said.
I'm good, man. I like it all.
All right, I'm gonna delete this slide. Last free attacks. That's what I always try to end up with. Also, if you've been getting texts from me from the other cell phone, this is my current cell phone. It should be this forever, hopefully till the day I die. And so people that are on our team, sometimes they text that other number, and I'm like, I tell you 100 times that this one is my cell phone number. If you want me to text you fast, then use this phone. But the CRM from Taylor Green Media Group is very robust. It is helping us text people, email people. There's a lot of responses on there from people that I reach out to that may want to come to the team. So lots of stuff like that. Okay, phew. I got it all out in almost an hour.
Great work.
Okay, Mom, anything from you?
No, that was all really good information. I wrote a lot of notes. I want to work on a few things and then look at the rentals, the potential rentals you want. So
Yep. Nice. This is very nice. This is very nice. Side note, I'm trying to still get the house here. I don't know if you remember that, Brandon, but that house I've got under contract 4 buildings north of me. It will finish in 2 weeks. And so if we do close, I got to get a lease on this house first and see if those numbers look good. And if they look good, then we'll still pull the trigger and go that way. And then that'll push me to 1 primary residence, 2 rentals. The company will own 1 rental, hopefully 2 more, plus 4, or making that 4 doors at least. I want it either to be 2 duplexes or do a single family or condo or short-term rental that looks good. Once that cash flows, then do something that's like a 3-door apartment or whatever, something like that. So
I like it.
So if we did 1 door 2022 for the company, and we do 4, then I'm trying to like set a precedence. Like we should push this ball quick and try to not like over leverage, but if we have the capital, we should really like try to push that. And so I know going 4x every year is not sustainable, but if we got to like just shy of 100 rentals or something in the company, I think that would be like one of those, oh, okay, now we're kind of in the big leagues, um, and then kind of just see what it looks like from there.
Oh yeah, agreed. I would say that if we build up the portfolio past like 10, the next one should just literally be a single unit for no less than 25 doors.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, there's no reason not to, man. Are you kidding me? If we literally had like say 2, 3, 4, 5 short terms making really good cash flow, and then say that maybe at least 5 single families or indoor condos,
Hmm.
giving us like that 10 door mark, there's no reason why we can't upgrade to a 25 plus unit apartment complex.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I think that would be awesome. The cool thing is we have so much good opportunity with the company with leverage. Plus, we will always keep selling property, which kind of keeps the revenue that's not attached to any doors, keeping that alive. Because we're always going to have people in here. Like me and my mom are still going to sell real estate regardless of what's happening, and 10% of what we make goes into the company all the time. And then everybody else that's on the staff, we have some lifers that are going to be with us forever, most likely, hopefully. And they're always going to sell, so they're kind of pumping into the cash flow. Something for everybody, real quick though, is when we start like leveraging and buying property, the cash account's going to go way down, and so your monthly dividend is going to be minuscule. I mean, even more so than what it is right now. And if people are okay with that, then that's the way we'll go. Um,
It's the only
I'm
way to
on board
grow.
with that. Yeah, I'm on board, and that's the only way. Like you said, that's the only way we grow. We can't just sit on cash. Cash is stupid right now, anyways. It's just getting burned down.
Oh, I
So,
know. No,
yep,
so I can only speak for myself on this one, but obviously I knew from the get go, buying in, I wasn't expecting any type of real return for at least 10 years.
yeah,
So the fact that you started offering dividends within a couple months, I'll take $20 a month, man. I don't care.
right, yep,
Yeah,
yep, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Um, on that note too, if you want an extra position in the company on the next purchase, if you decide that you're like, hey, I want to be 1/3 into that, or whatever. Let's say we need to bring 100 grand to the table, and you're like, hey, I want to put up 33,000. If you buy extra shares in the company, that'll just increase your position on top of everyone else. Um, and it won't be like 1/3 owner of that house or whatever. You'll still own shares of the company, but it's a way for you to increase your potential there as well. That's what me and my mom did on the last one. We did 69,000 a piece, or it might have been 70,000. What was it, Mom? Whatever it was, something like that. Whatever. It was like, whatever. She's like, whatever. So yeah. Anyway, that's that second piece. Like when we go to that other line of where my mom and I have extra shares. That's what we did. We said, all right, we're coming in with $69,000 extra, and then boosting that through everyone else.
Yep.
Or not through everyone else. That's not the right way to say that.
With
Like adding in extra shares, and then that actually added extra shares to everybody that was earlier than that as well, like you and Zach and Ashley, I think.
Yep.
But that is an opportunity for you if you wanted to do that. So, like in your short-term rental class or the cohort, if you're like, I really want to get involved and be a bigger player with that, and you're like, you don't want to take on all of the liability and leverage and stuff, then you can decide, all right, we found this great one, and then we'll pull the trigger. The company buys it, and you just bring extra funds with the company's funds and have extra shares at the same time.
copy. Yep.
Cool. I thought about doing that with this next purchase. I was like, man, maybe the company should just buy 25% of this house, and like just loan me back $20,000 to make this payment real cheap, but then I'll put it in the company's name. I don't know. There was a lot of like, should I? Should I not? Like, should I just put my whole portfolio in here? I don't really care. Like, one day it'll just be company owned, and we'll all have a dividend from it, and just say thanks and go to Tampa or whatever.
True that.
Yeah. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys. Mom, of course, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. You're amazing. Brandon,
Thank you.
likewise, love you. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely, y'all.
I just love being with you guys. I know that we're on a path to growing like crazy. I know that we looked like we were growing way faster right before the market shifted, but now I think that the way we're mapping out everything, when everything turns around, if we're not in the top like 12% of companies in Utah, I would be shocked. But I know that the threshold to get into the top 10% is pretty high. It's like 2 times or 2.5 times where we're at right now in sales volume. So it's not like super hard to get to. We were doubling when we started pretty regularly, and then kind of stagnated at 20 something realtors. So I think for us to kind of double that again, we either need a hot market or 20 more realtors. And so that's kind of the threshold I want to try to hit. Once we get over that 10%, I think it'll really kind of like leverage and push itself. But I guess we're going to find out. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. So love you guys. Thanks so much. And we will see you in about a week after I send you the shareholder agreement. All right. There you
Great.
go.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
See ya.
See you, Brandon.
Bye.
See you later.